Hey, I am back. I am back. Got some interruptions for that first live, but we're talking about bearing one another's burdens, and this is for my caregivers. So take it how you will. And we're actually going to start in Galatians 6, verse 2. In chapter 6, verse 2 of Galatians says, share each other's burdens. And I'm reading from let's see, what version am I reading from? The New Living Translation Bible. And again, it says, share each other's burdens, and in this way, obey the law of Christ. Again, share each other's burdens, and in this way, obey the law of Christ. And I'm doing something right now. I'm on live right now. Go back in there, please. Thank you. And yeah, I'm trying to get this out before I go to church, right? So basically, I came up here, like I said, talking about trying to go from a biblical perspective on caregiving, right? Because caregiving is one of those fundamental tasks of life, really. Man, it can be difficult, right? It can be full of difficulties. So I just wanted to come on here a little bit and talk to you guys about that, and just encourage caregivers. I want to encourage you all to stay strong, but I also want to encourage you all to don't neglect yourself. Don't neglect yourself. It goes on to say in verse 3, if you think you are too important to help someone, you are only fooling yourself, and you are not that important. And that's, of course, yes, you're never too important to help someone else. You're never too hop on your high horse that you can't help another. And so for my caregivers, no, this is verse 4. Pay careful attention to your own work, for then you will get the satisfaction of a job well done, and you won't need to compare yourself to anyone else. For we are, verse 5, for we are each responsible for our own conduct. And verse 6, those who are taught the word of God should provide for their teachers, sharing all good things with them. In verse 7, don't be misled. You cannot mock the justice of God. You will always harvest what you plant. And those who live only to satisfy their own sinful nature will harvest decay and death, from that sinful nature. But those who live to please the Spirit will harvest everlasting life from the Spirit. In verse 9, so let's not get tired of doing what is good. At just the right time, we will reap a harvest of blessing if we don't give up. Therefore, whenever we have the opportunity, we should do good to everyone, especially to those in the family of faith. Now, I read that to you as well because as a caregiver, you can feel the need to want to give up, right? You can feel the need to want to give up, and it messes with your mental. But I also want to try to move this keyboard. I mean, just stand around. You ready? I'll be ready in a few minutes. And yeah, like I said, I'm getting ready for church, y'all. So, but I just wanted to share that with you guys. And just also, there's a couple, I'm looking at my notes. Okay, there's a couple of other things that I wanted to share with you all as you come in. Chapter 6, verse 5, it says, for we are each responsible for our own conduct. And with that, yes, we share one another's burdens, but we need to be reminded of our personal limits and stewardship. As caregivers, we must recognize that our own fundamental need to rest, right? We need to maintain our boundaries and guard our well-being, because how can you take care of someone else if your well-being is not being cared for? Good morning, Sister Echo. I'm talking about caregiving this morning, and basically caregiver burnout, if you will, but just neglecting yourself. It's good for us to, of course, care for one another. That's how God designed us, right? But not at the extent of neglecting yourself. You have to think about your well-being as well. And I know you're, a grandmother and mother as well. You have to think about your well-being also when you're taking care of loved ones, whether it's parents or grandchildren, such as we both. I know I do both. And so this video is just trying to just talking about helping people navigate this and knowing when to, in a sense, take your hands off of it. Not neglect anyone, but to take your hands off of it. You can't continue to sacrifice in vain. I'll say that you don't sacrifice in vain. And when I say in vain, don't just sacrifice just to be sacrificing when there's no no goal. There has to be goals in place. Okay, well, what are we gonna do when this happens, or what are we gonna do? What's the future hold? You can't completely just go about it willy nilly. And I am a big person on not liking structure per se or want to be free. But certain things you need structure in, and this is one of them. You need structure in, you need assistance in, and you have to know when, okay, hey, I can't carry this load anymore. I need help. I need assistance. That's where this video came from. When you need assistance, you need to reach out and figure out the things and stop neglecting yourself, because when you neglect yourself, stress can play a big part. Stress can play a big part in the detriment of you, the detriment of you. So without no you, then what who's gonna be there? You know what I'm saying? Who's gonna be there if there's no you? So you have to come to a point where, okay, I'm doing this, but you know, if someone doesn't, if they constantly feel that they don't need you anymore, then you have to realize, okay, well, if they don't need me, then I need to take care of my needs, right? You can't continue, you shouldn't put your needs aside in the beginning. Yes, okay, you make sacrifices. Okay, all right, it's fine. Yes, you make sacrifices, of course, but you shouldn't completely sacrifice your well-being for others. There is help out there. There are resources out there, and you can't force people to accept those resources. That's something that I've learned. You cannot force people to accept the resources that are there for them. So there's my question, or there's my revelation. What do you do then? What do you do then as a caregiver? What do you do then when the caregivee does not want to accept the resources? And you had, now I'm just gonna be transparent. When you're burned out, you can't handle the load anymore. You're trying to relinquish it, but you're trying to relinquish it in a proper way. Where do you go from there? How do you relinquish it safely? What do you do? Do you wait on the caregivee to, okay, I'm ready for assistance now? Or do you do what you got to do, for you? Right, exactly. You got to take care of yourself. And that's the point that I'm getting at. Okay, I have to take care of myself now. Some people may or may not agree with this. It is what it is, but, it's been 2 years now, 2 years. And that's a lot of sacrificing. And when and there's no love loss or anything like that. So this is not about bashing anybody or anything. 'Cause I know everybody's on my social media accounts. This is about real life stuff, real life sacrifices, and a lot of daughters. I know there are some sons, because I've had sons to come on here, and how they're caregiving for their parents. So it's all of the family members, but in my case, the sister, the only girl, the daughter, baby of the family, it's me, right? It's just me. And, of course, yeah, financially, from a, living arrangement, that's fine, but I need more than that. And then when you reach out and say, okay, well, I'll go to this agency and I'll get this, to where that I can get some kind of, compensation, for my well-being, to be able to do caregive, then there's a problem. And there's a problem. And I may get a lot of backlash from this. And at this point, I really honestly don't care. I don't. The Lord said, tell it. I'm telling it. Because I wasn't going to go live, especially on FB. But It is what it is. But um and it's like, okay, pulling teeth. You reach out for resources, and then when you bring the resources home, it's not accepted. Oh, it's no, I don't want to deal with this, or no, I don't want this information getting out. I don't want my personal business getting out. I don't want this, but I want you to still be here for me. Or, I'm not ready for that yet. Or, you have to put your pride aside and accept the resources that you need. You worked all your life, you did all the things you needed to do. It's yours. It's your benefits, right? They're your benefits, but you have to be able to receive them. You have to put your pride aside. And a lot of older adults don't want to accept that they're getting older. And I never would want to take any independence from anyone, never want to take anything from anyone, right? But there comes a time when you need help. I know eventually one day I'm gonna need, that type of help, of course, right? We're all human, we all go through different stages of life, but you have to accept it. But back to the caregivers, when the help is not accepted or received, or what do you do, caregivers? Tell me, let me know in the comments. What do you do as a caregiver? And yes, we pray, of course, that's number one, that's top, not, but what do you do? What do you do? That was my computer light popped off. What do you do, caregivers? Let me know. Right, you pray for God to make a way, of course, but then He also tells you, okay, look, daughter, look, son, this is what you gotta do. So I guess maybe that's probably my hardest part, is putting my needs at the forefront when He's telling me, when your health starts declining, then yeah, you gotta put you first. You gotta move you a little higher up on that totem pole when your health starts declining, whether it's your mental, your physical, just your livelihood, your well-being, your mental, physical, emotional. When those things start to, when things start to take a toll on those parts on you, your well-being, it's time. It's time for you to think about you. And when the caregivees, and I know that's not really a word, I don't think it is, but when the person needing care realizes, okay, that yes, I'm going to have to reach out to resources, then they'll just have to reach out to resources. That's the kind of things that, as caregivers, especially as, like I said, as family caregivers, when you're caring for a family member, you have to come to a point in your life and realization that, okay, hey, I gotta, make sure I'm good too, right? I gotta make sure I'm good too. Or, I'm not gonna, have a livelihood, because what are you gonna do when they're gone, and you've dedicated your whole life, what are you gonna do then, right? So those are the kind of things you got to think about, because you still have life to live. You still have, and it's not about, having a fun and going party and all. It's not about that. But you have a life. You have to worry about your mental, like, even speaking in like counseling and therapy and things like that. Stress will take you out of here. Stress will take you out of here. That person who says they're so strong, that superwoman. No, I'm taking off the cape. Okay, I am taking it off. I am taking off the cape. Should never put it on, but I'm taking it off. I am taking it off. Yeah, releasing it, taking it off. Taking it off. Like, I don't want it no more. I'm releasing it. I have released the cape. So, let me know y'all releasing y'all cape too, because I am releasing the cape. It's done deal. I'm releasing the cape. I am releasing the cape. What would they do if you hurt yourself? Right, and then you cannot care for them. They would have no choice but to accept. Exactly, and that's the realization that I'm coming to, Sister Echo, over on YouTube. All kind of things are happening to me now, and it's like, okay, my body is starting to, shut down. And for instance, in my hand, nobody knows what it is, right? Come on, something is something. It can even be stress, it. So yeah, God doesn't mean for right, and I had to accept that God doesn't mean for me to carry all the burdens. That's why I started talking about Galatians chapter 6. God doesn't mean for me to carry the whole load, and it's a load that I took on. I accepted it, And I'm like, okay, well, this is, daughter, family takes care of family, but there comes a point where you have to set some boundaries. You have to, and even if the boundaries are crossed, hold on, even if the boundaries are crossed, we'll be leaving in a minute, okay? Can I have no chill body milk? Is it in a little small container? The chill body. That's the big cup, big glass of milk. Just pour you a little bit, okay? All right. Sorry, y'all. Yeah, now y'all know my life. So, but there comes a point in time where you gotta say, okay, wait, look, yeah, you gotta say, hey, look, I can't do this, right? And that's what I'm come to realize, that I can't carry all the burdens. And I was even talking to, just the live that I did Saturday, when I went to the senior expo, and I spoke with the young lady that has a company, and they help get the parents set up for the services that they need. Someone would come in here, or even if they just compensated me, I think she says like 10 hours a week or something like that, only for like 6 months, to do something to give peace of mind. Okay, hey, my own steady income inside, so I'm still here. Refusal. Don't want to speak to the lady on the phone, which I told her, they don't want to speak to the lady on the phone. They don't want to do this. They don't want to do that. So, okay, Deborah, what do you do? Right. What do you do? And before any of my family members want to call mom and talk to her, at this point, do what you want to do. Do what you want to do. But anyway, so it's like, at this point, what do you do? What do you do? So I gotta I gotta take care of Deborah. I gotta take care of Deborah. I gotta make sure Deborah's well being is intact, right? So I gotta start making steps to get me right. At some point we have to get real and exactly take the help offered, right? But when they don't accept the help, what can you do, What can you do, Echo? You can't force people to agree to the help. Like you said there earlier, sometimes they're not gonna accept it until you're no longer there, until you're no longer there. If you're not there, then they have no choice but to accept the help. And so that's what it's looking like eventually coming to. But, you know, it's just one of those things, you have to think about you, because you can't, who's gonna take care of you? Who's gonna take care of you, right? So that's the point we are at. And I had to come on here. I had to come on here, and because y'all know everything I share, to help someone else. So I know I'm not the only caregiver out here. I'm not the only family caregiver. I'm not the only daughter caring for parents. I know I'm not the only one. And yes, you can make sacrifices, but how you have to, at some point, you have to make I'll draw a line in the sand, if you will, of where I praying for God. Thank you, and I appreciate that. Thank you. I appreciate your prayers. I do. Um, but yeah, at some point you have to come to terms with, okay, I got to draw the line here. I got to draw the line, and that's where I'm at. And sometimes Lord allow things to happen for you to realize, okay, look, it's time for you to move. It's time for you to go. And this can be in all situations. He'll let stuff get so bad to where you have no choice but to realize, okay, Lord, all right, Lord, I hear you. I see you. But like I said, this is not to bash parents or whoever that needs the care. It's just to bring awareness to being a caregiver. Yes, people get burned out and when they have traditional caregiving jobs in the facilities, but it's a little bit different when you caring for family members. It's a little bit different. So I hope I encourage somebody with this message. Like I said, read through the scriptures yourself in Galatians chapters 5, and about bearing one another's burdens. And yes, everybody can say, "Oh, well, you're gonna really get this and that." When they pass, it's not about that. I'm not. That's neither here nor there. For me, for all I can say, they can live to 100. If that longer they live, the longer they're here with me in this earth. So I'm not waiting on that. But that's not how they didn't raise me to live my life that way either. I've been working since I was 16 years old. you know, they didn't raise me, like that. So, don't expect it now. Don't expect it now, So my caregivers out there, I'm getting ready to go to church this morning, but my caregivers out there, make sure you are prioritizing you, taking care of you, making sure you have everything in order for you and your well being, your future, you know, so that you'll be taken care of, right? When you get in your latter years or when you need more care, make sure that you get things in order. And that's what I'm doing, is making sure that I get things in order. And me and mom had a good conversation, shared some tears or whatever, But there's no, like I said, there's no love lost. I love her, she loves me. Dad just doesn't say much. But, still, the same feelings and everything. But yeah, start, do what you gotta do. You can help and assist, but don't neglect yourself. Don't neglect yourself, whether it's your emotional, physical, financial, spiritual. Don't neglect yourself. If you get any message out of anything out of this message today, don't neglect yourself. Don't neglect yourself. All right. Don't neglect yourself. Yes. Do not neglect yourself. And I'm gonna go ahead and hop on off of here. And like I said, get ready to head on to church. But I had to share that with you guys. And I pray that this message blesses someone. If it touched you in any way, please feel free to leave a comment, send me a message. And on here now, you can send messages on YouTube and Facebook. Y'all know what to do. If you need to talk or you need some assistance or you got any advice, hey, I'm open to anything. I ain't gonna say anything, but I'm open to it. But again, happy Sunday. Bless your heart. And just, yeah, don't let guilt make you neglect. Right, right, exactly. Sister Echo, right. Don't let guilt, make you neglect yourself. Right. Don't let it make you neglect yourself. So with that being said, I would like to say thank you guys for watching. I appreciate you coming on here with me. If you catch this in the replay, feel free to leave a comment, like, share, subscribe, and I will see you all in the next video. Thank you, and God bless you. Hello, Anfield Roadley. Yeah, you have a long name. I'm so sorry, Anfield. I'm just gonna call you Anfield. Well, yes, we're just getting ready to hop off of here. But feel free to catch the replay. I'm getting ready to go to church, so I won't be able to stay on any longer. But we're talking about caregiving, caregiver burnout, all the things. And thank you. I appreciate you for leaving a comment if you've been here the whole time. Thank you so much, and you have a wonderful rest of your day as well. All right. Bye bye.